Hey everyone, and welcome to Nerfcast. This is Shawn.
And this is Josh.
Alright, Josh, so are you ready to talk about what we're going to talk about today?
I think I'm ready.
Yes. I don't think you're ready for just any.
Just any?
I don't think you're ready for just any.
Just any.
I don't think you know what song I'm trying to say.
Nope, not at all.
My body's bootylicious, baby.
And that's why I don't know what song that is.
Okay. The moral of the story is we're talking about stuff today, but let's start off talking about a new blaster that came out recently. It's been very popular. It's got a lot of attention. The Rapidstrike.
Yeah, a lot of discussion about the Rapidstrike, and in our last game, we finally, not only did we get to run them, so did everybody else.
We had, what was it, like 32 people at our last game, and I think, I want to say like 10 of them were running Rapidstrikes in the beginning.
Yeah, there were quite a few at the beginning of our game, and as the day went on, people sort of switched out. I think they got kind of a little bored with using it.
But Josh, how can you get bored of using the Rapidstrike?
Well, so here's the thing. There were a lot of things that I enjoyed about the Rapidstrike, a lot of things I didn't enjoy about the Rapidstrike, and I think it has its place on the Nerf battlefield, at least the way that we play. Don't know that it's for everyone. I wouldn't say that this is the go-to blaster for people, necessarily. If you like it, you will like it. If you don't, you're just probably not going to.
That was so vague. Like, here's the rundown. I'm sorry, I'm going to be mean right now. Here's the rundown of this blaster. Some people will like it, and some people won't. I'm going to be specific now. I will cover up for you, my friend.
I'm trying to do a lead-in.
No, you aren't.
Yes.
No, you aren't. You are trying to sabotage me because now I look like a dick.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You do that yourself.
I do. I have a gift. So here's my rundown of the Rapidstrike. So beginning of the game, we had a lot of people running it. I think initially what everyone wanted, and Josh is going to elaborate on this too because I rudely cut him off. I'm sorry, Josh.
I will just probably agree, because we've talked about this already.
We've talked about this a lot since our game, like 5 days ago.
Yep.
Was it?
No, it was more than that.
It was over a week ago.
Yes.
See, I have memory. Anywho, so I think everyone went in with the intention that they were going to have a great assault weapon going into battle.
Right.
So you have the Rapidstrike. You see these videos where people are clearing out like 36 rounds in 4 seconds with awesome voltage mods, or just regular 18-round mag stock is still just going super quick. You're getting great ranges. It's firing great. Here's the thing I noticed right away with the blaster. It was the biggest thing. I'll just start there. Jam issues. Jam issues bug the crap out of me. Mm-hmm. That's actually one of the reasons I really enjoy the Alpha Trooper and the Retaliator. I feel like jams seldom happen, or when they do, they're quick and easy to clear. Yep. With the Rapidstrike, both Josh and I think the first round we had, which was like a 30-minute round, we experienced 3 jams each.
3 jams each, and then some of the other people also experienced jams that were running it.
Yeah.
And needless to say, that was disappointing, because it's a brand new blaster, and you just want things. The way that it's made is if you do get a jam, it stops everything. Mm-hmm. You keep firing and nothing comes out. It's not like a jam in the Strife. When it jams, everything sort of stops. The dart sensor sort of tells things, usually, most of the time, that, there's something going wrong, okay, just drop the mag. You can be firing, and then suddenly you'll notice just nothing is coming out anymore. Mm-hmm. And
you can still hear that dart pusher going off, though, going,
yep. Exactly.
Which, that's how it happens for me on a battle, because I'm just, like, yelling and screaming, like, ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
So I hear that, and then, like, 5 seconds later, it's like, why aren't darts coming out?
Yeah, and I mean, that's gotten me tagged more than once, where I've been firing at someone and there's just nothing there, and they've fired back. Or I thought that I was firing, and I peek around a corner and take a shot, and they realize nothing's coming out and just rush me. Mm-hmm. So really annoying. We had a few people run it that had very minimal problems, 1 or 2 throughout like the day. So there may be a couple of things. I'm not entirely sure what is causing all the jams. It could be that the darts themselves are not, perfect. We obviously are playing with a huge stockpile of darts that we have for the past, since the Elite darts have come out. We've been just accumulating them.
I think we have like 5,000 now.
We have so many darts.
If I had to put a serious estimate on it, I'd say we're probably close to 1,000.
Yeah, no,
at this point.
I would easily say we're probably that. So it could be that darts are not perfectly straight and are getting caught up, and that's what's doing it. It could be that the dart pusher just needs to push the dart a little bit further than it is already. If you do want to see more of what we're talking about, Basic Nerf put up a video, and I'll see if I can find it and link it in the description, but showing basically the same exact problem that we were having. Every time it would jam, nothing would come out, and when you would pull the magazine out, a dart would be stuck
at like a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, pretty much. And in his video, what you can see is there's a rubber skirt that has some slits in it.
Traditionally, I think it's called a sphincter.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just there, I believe it's just there to stabilize the dart, keep things from falling out normally, and then once it's pushed through, it keeps it in the center of where the flywheels are going to be. But if a dart just is, the tip is a little bit bent or it's not perfectly straight, it looked like it was getting caught in there, and then when you actually pull out the magazine, it tries to stay in there, and that's what causes it to look like it got stuck at a 45-degree angle. Mm-hmm. Don't know if that's just something that'll be easily remedied by removing that piece, or, like I said, adding something onto the dart pusher.
Mm-hmm. What I'd be worried about is stabilization of the dart when it's being launched through, because that sphincter is there to basically make sure the dart's going through straight to the flywheel.
Exactly.
So if you remove that, yes, it's more likely to go to the flywheels and less likely to kind of jam in that area, I suppose. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you have a dart going in at an awkward angle, it might ricochet off the barrel on the inside. It could reduce ranges, could make your darts kind of fly out wheels.
I guess the odd thing to me is that we have a similar system in place in the Strife, and I've encountered far less jams in that. So I don't know why, if they have a technology that works, it would somehow go backwards.
I'll be honest with you, I think it's because it's an automatic dart pusher. It's because it's cycling through, and when you hold down the trigger, the dart pusher's like, I'm always going to go at this same rate every time. Mm-hmm. So if your magazine's a little bit slow to load up to the top, if a dart's a little misshapen, it's not pressing properly, I feel like the dart pusher is where the real error is coming. Like, maybe it's because the dart's loading up ready in the front, but the dart pusher isn't all the way back, so it's like, oh, I'm kind of feeding in, but the dart pusher can't hit the bottom, and blah, blah, blah,
Could
blah.
be also a fault of the magazine, you're correct. I mean, if it's not pushing the darts up fast enough, it may just be the dart pusher is catching part of the dart and pushing it through, and then when it comes back, it tries pushing again, and there's nothing that it's hitting.
Mm-hmm. Like, Josh, you were theorizing originally that if there was a wider plate on the back of the dart pusher that's actually accelerating the dart forward, that maybe would help the problem.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, there's so many sort of variables that I'm not even sure exactly what it is, but I'm sure that as time goes on and more people start messing with the blaster and modding it and things like that, we'll see, hopefully, some way to alleviate that problem. Or it may be like the Strife when they brought out the dart sensor sort of 2.0. Since they were having a problem with that, they may just start releasing ones that have a different piece there, or some other way to keep the dart in place. And that would be awesome, because that would really show that Hasbro's listening to people's complaints.
Yeah, I feel like the feedback from the Strife was great. That I was surprised that Hasbro honestly would change their design so quickly.
Yeah.
It was a very quick response.
Really was a good turnaround.
Based on, it sounds like production cycle is long for Nerf stuff. Like a lot of the blasters that are coming out now, it seems like they were talked about in 2010, so 3 years ago.
Right.
So the fact that a blaster can be released and within a couple months just modified that quickly without having to do a lot of changes to the blaster, I mean, it sounds like a simple thing, but when you realize that these are machines that are designed to mass produce hundreds of thousands of the same toy, a small change can cost the company a lot of money. So honestly, kudos to Hasbro for actually implementing those changes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something that I feel like nobody expected them to do.
That's
nobody
for sure.
was asking them to do. People were ready to complain about it, but they kind of went on the assumption that Hasbro wouldn't go ahead and fix it, and they did. So kudos once again.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see if there's some way around that in the future. But that was obviously the biggest turnoff, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, because like I was saying earlier, there's nothing worse than being in the middle of a battle and your blaster just not working. You go in for, like I said, with me, I expected this blaster to be an assault blaster. You run in, just gun down everything in front of you, tag anyone who's in front of you. Mm-hmm. If not, you're going to scare them away from wherever you're trying to drill into. So it makes sense as an assault blaster.
Definitely.
If, for example, one time I was running straight down the middle. There are two guys in the middle as well and one guy up top. I run to the middle, get very close around their backs, pull the trigger, click, 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 click.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, crap. So then they turn around and both of them have rapid strikes and they're shooting at me. And this is the number 2 problem I had with the rapid strike. The accuracy is not there.
Yeah.
So these 2 people were, I would say, about 12 feet away from me.
Mm-hmm.
They were not that far. And I feel like with an Alpha Trooper, Retaliator, even a Strife, you have that level of accuracy 12 feet away where you're most likely going to hit whatever you're hitting. And I was dancing for like a solid 15 seconds dodging all their shots where I felt like, oh, I'm so hot. I'm so awesome.
Yeah, I noticed every time I tried to tag somebody, if they were moving, even if they were standing still, that with the Rapid Strike, even more so than the Strife, with the Strife, I'm more likely to do 3 or 4 shots, where an Alpha Trooper, I'll do 1 or 2 and hopefully hit someone, because I can sort of gauge my accuracy and adjust my second shot and hopefully hit someone. With the Strife, it's a little bit less accurate, so I might go 3 or 4 just quick trigger pulls and try to get them. With this, I almost had to waste a full 18 rounds. I was going 6 or 7 easily, which is pretty much half of an 18, just to hit one person.
Yeah, and I would be okay with the exchange in accuracy if the rate of fire were there.
Right.
But what I'm seeing right now is the rate of fire is very similar to the Stampede.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel any faster. And granted, you can do voltage mods, and I've seen them just spit out darts like crazy, but I feel like stock, it feels about the same. And honestly, I like running stock blasters for reliability. So I'd like something that's a little bit closer to the promise of just a flurry of darts flying forward.
Yeah, I totally agree.
This, I feel like, honestly, with a conditioned finger, you can get the same rate of fire out of a Hailfire, out of a Strife, out of a Raven. Like, I'm not really missing much by giving up the full auto by going to a semi-auto here.
Nah, I agree. Because the rate of fire is so slow, even with some of the mods, it's really cool. But then you have the trade-off of basically every time you shoot at someone, you're probably wasting almost an entire 18-round magazine. Because if you're getting that off in a few seconds, like some of the videos have shown, it's really awesome, but you're going to just be ridiculously reloading darts.
Like, I literally changed my loadout with that expectation, too. Mm-hmm. I was running, 3, 6, 7 mags on me.
Same here. I doubled my normal capacity almost.
Because I was expecting I was going to run the Rapid Strike. Anytime there's 2 people close to each other, I go brrr and just get both of them, and then charge them forward and just swap out mags if I need to. Like, basically treat each mag as basically 1 to 2 rounds.
Right.
That I was going to be expending at least 8 darts whenever I shot. Like, of course, you can sit there and fire 1 off. But like I said, it's a flywheel blaster, so I wasn't expecting the accuracy to be there.
Definitely.
If I was using this, I was going to wait till the right moment, charge in, and just gun anything down in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I was basically using a big, souped-up Strife that didn't really give me the huge benefits I would expect of a bigger blaster.
Yeah. There were times when it was fun being able to, just throw down that much ammo. But to be fair, I also normally use a Alpha Trooper. So the few times that I have messed with the Strife, it seemed very similar. There were some ergonomics that were nice because it's already set up like an assault rifle, so you don't have to add a stock or add a barrel. It's already sort of it's at that carbine length of a actual rifle.
I feel bad. I was so excited about the Alpha Trooper. I used it once or twice, and then I went back to the Strife. Mm-hmm. After the Rapid Strike wasn't really doing it for me, I went back to the Alpha Trooper. I'm like, oh my god, have I missed this?
Yeah.
Just being able to slowly take your shots, prime up, and just fire. Mm-hmm. Slam fire on it's still awesome. Like, unlike the Rampage, I barely get any jams with the Alpha Trooper.
Yep.
Which is a huge plus. I love avoiding jams because I want to be accurate with my shots and not be in one of those situations where I'm going in for the kill shot. Up, jam. Well, now I'm exposed. Let's see if I can run away and fix this jam in time before I get hit.
Yeah, I really felt like the jamming issue, biggest thing, if that gets fixed, there are really some places that you can use this blaster, but it's very situationally dependent. For me, it just doesn't fit the game style that I enjoy playing. Mm-hmm. I like to set up and take my shots. I think I like the versatility of the Alpha Trooper because I can take some shots from midfield and just sort of keep people back without wasting all of my ammo. And then once a few people are down and we want to do a push, I can swap in a new mag, and I've got 18 shots, and I have slam fire on the Alpha Trooper, so I can just rush in, and I can spam darts pretty fast. It might not be quite as quick as, say, a voltage modded Rapidstrike or even a Strife, but it's still enough to really just lay down some cover fire if need be. Mm-hmm. So I love the versatility there, and I feel like you could do it with the Rapidstrike, but you lose that midfield advantage, those nice accurate shots at a distance, or even dart pushing. I know we've talked about that before on the show. As soon as I dropped my Rapidstrike and went back to my Alpha Trooper, I was like, oh, I just love this because I can take pot shots from way downfield and hit people and have fun. Even if I don't hit them, it makes them rethink getting any closer, because it's like, well, that was pretty close at this far away. If I get much closer, they're going to be able to peg me.
Yeah, plus you can easily kind of push people around on the battlefield. I know a lot of times people would be advancing. Mm-hmm. I would take one shot kind of forward of them, either hoping A, they'd step into it, or B, they would stop going that direction. So it's a lot more controlled kiting. If you were running a Rapidstrike, you can take one or two shots, but hey, it's not going to be nearly where you want them to be, and they could easily sidestep over in front of where you want them to go.
Yeah.
So I kind of use it to create a wall, or like I said, kite people around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Plus with the Alpha Trooper, just using one shot, dart pushing, you get a lot further. It's a lot more accurate, and you're wasting less ammo. It works more effectively for those three reasons in midfield combat, where you're kind of trying to control pushes, which way people are going, maybe single people trying to sneak through to get onto your side or vice versa. I feel like if the Rapidstrike has one place, it's probably as base defense. We've seen this a lot with other blasters. Like, for example, the Hailfire. We have players go out with the Hailfire and kind of take an area and just fully lock it down just because they have such a high ammo capacity. Mm-hmm. But also just the full auto nature of the blaster. They're constantly there. They're constantly ready. You don't see the prime. It's just, I will fire and rain down. And it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter if it's not getting far ranges, because the goal is to prevent you from coming forward.
Right.
So if they get locked down into a corner or something like that, they can just sit there for days just keeping people off, because it's virtually suicide to run in and try to charge someone with a Hailfire.
Right.
I feel like the same is true with a Rapidstrike. The difference is you have more mobility and speed. Hailfires are big, clunky, because people try and load them up with 18-round magazines, or even the 12-round magazines. It's still a lot of ammo and a lot of big bulk added to that blaster.
Oh, for sure.
The Rapidstrike honestly does have the advantage of that it's smaller, it's more compact. It's not a small blaster by any means, but it's small enough where you can pick it up to your chest and run with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel like, oh, this is an awkward type of movement when I'm running with this blaster. So if you want to fall back into a different position, you can keep regressing if you have to. Or you can, if you think that there's weakness or there's too many people in one place, you can just kind of sit there and spray a little bit. It'll work out for that, but just for pushing forward, I feel like you're just going to get engulfed on an offensive standpoint.
Right.
Defensive, it's more the players are coming to you, so you can take advantage of that rapid fire better.
Right. And again, it's a lot of personal play style, because for me, I would rather run a Rapidstrike than a Hailfire, because the mobility is nice for me. We did have some players that really enjoyed just doing pushes with the Rapidstrike, and I think that's the thing. When I look at Nerf blasters, I think of sort of the infantrymen, like every buddy blaster. If you're sort of going to be a generic just person on the field, it's either an Alpha Trooper or a Retaliator. And you can pretty much rock those. You get good ranges. They're versatile enough to where, you can do assaults and you can switch to defense. And it's got good midfield game. If you get close, you've got, on the Alpha Trooper at least, you've got slam fire, things like that. So it's pretty much anybody can grab one and go. With the Rapidstrike, you have to have a few things. You have to have some discipline in how you perform and like where and what you perform. You already mentioned base defense, which I think it is really good for base defense. And you could switch to offense, but I really feel like the only reason you ever need to switch to offense is during a push. If you're going to just be running up and sort of trying to keep people away like midfield, in our games at least, not really something that you need to do, because you're going to sort of waste a lot of ammo just keeping people at bay, whereas you can have an Alpha Trooper and do the same thing with far less ammo being wasted. Base defense, yeah, if people are getting that close and you're one of the few people that are still at base, you can take a lot of people out because of the rapid fire nature of the full auto blaster. So it's nice for that. And then on charges, I feel like you can't really make a concise push by yourself with this blaster. And not to say you really can with a Alpha Trooper or any of the other blasters. Right. But it is really nice if you want to lead a charge and you know that the other team is now on the defensive, to have somebody with the Rapidstrike go in, and even if they, get tagged out, they're going in there to try and take out as many people who are guarding that flag or guarding that base as possible. And you go in expecting it to sort of be a suicide mission for you. And you have a few other people behind you that are coming in with Alpha Troopers or what have you, and taking shots at people from a little bit further of a distance, but then can run in after you've cleared some areas. So I feel like it's a good offensive and defensive weapon. It's just its mid-game isn't there. Mm-hmm. Which is, again, it depends on how you play.
I think what it breaks down to for me is, you're right, it works well as an offensive and defensive blaster. Mm-hmm. It's just the mindset of the person using it. So I would imagine if someone is running an if someone is running a Rapidstrike going forward into enemy territory, mm-hmm. the idea of what they want and what they really want to do is they want to score hits. They want to get people out. Right. They want to clear out the base. I think it's less about that and more about supporting the people who are around you. Like you said, if someone runs in with an Alpha Trooper, even like a Strife, something that's a smaller, lighter blaster that's a little bit more accurate, mm-hmm. it makes sense to run in, support people. Like I said, with the Alpha Trooper, how you're able to kind of kite and keep people away from certain directions by firing in front of them.
Right.
It's basically the same thing with a Hailfire or a Rapidstrike, where you can sit there and kind of be like, it doesn't matter if I can't hit you. All I need to do is slow you down long enough so the other person can run in and get the flag. And if you run towards me, it's just all the more likely I can score that hit.
Definitely.
The problem is, I think a lot of people going with the Alpha Trooper. A lot of people going with a Rapidstrike envisioning that they are going to be the ones leading the charge forward and getting to the flag.
Right.
I keep using the term drilling in, because in my head, that's how I imagine it. There's a wall of enemies. You need to just go straight in the middle and just clear out what you can in front of you, and the Rapidstrike is your drill. That's how you do it.
I totally agree. I don't feel like, unless it just is a fluke, that you're not really going to be pushing in with a Rapidstrike and being that person who's capturing the flag. You're there to support everyone else, or even to just draw attention away. If you and a small group are coming in on one side and they're like, oh, there's a Rapidstrike on this side, blah, 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 and then somebody else, a smaller other group, maybe one or two people can get around the other side to grab the flag, you're creating that diversion. You're there, you're big, you're spamming a lot of darts, so they're really keeping their eye on you, and it's about misdirection at that point. When you're assaulting, you have to know you're going in not because you're going to try to not get hit and get the best KD and take the flag, but to support people. And yeah, hopefully your KD is pretty nice because you want to go in and maybe take out a few people before you get hit. But I mean, it's like that with any blaster. You never want to get hit, but you have to understand you're putting sort of a target on your back, on your front, on your head, everywhere when you have a Rapidstrike.
Yeah, people are always looking out for different blasters on the field, and I feel like, once again, Rapidstrike, Hailfire, these two electronic blasters that have high rates of fire, high ammo capacity potentially, mm-hmm. that they work best as diversions, as support. And this is once again why I think it works better as a defensive weapon than an offensive weapon.
Right.
Is because you can just sit there. It's not necessary that you have a bunch of people on your back leading a charge to get to a flag, to an objective. Mm-hmm. You can just kind of hunker down, pick a spot, and be like, you know what? The flag is 5 feet from me. I'm going to sit over here by a wall. Anyone who tries to come near me, I can just hold them off all by myself.
Totally.
And in a way, that is a lot more useful to the team. It's always good to have people running in as support, but realistically, if you have multiple bodies running in on a charge, it's already good. Enough skill can make up for that, and while I will admit having a Rapidstrike on the front lines is going to be a little bit more useful just because you can lay down more suppressive fire.
Right.
Even though it doesn't have to be accurate or hit the targets, it's just there to scare and slow people down long enough to meet your objective goal. If you're on defense, you can be there as long as you want. There's no rush, there's no urgency, there's no risk to you as a player for kind of picking a spot and camping.
Oh, totally.
It works out really well for you. So I feel like naturally the players are going to want to go back, but then you're not in the action as much.
Exactly.
You kind of have this weird dichotomy where you have people who have this fast-firing weapon, full auto. The mentality is, I want to lead in the charge, but realistically, you would have a better chance of getting a higher KD.
Right.
And just actually assisting the game more if you're back at the base, able to hold off 3 or 4 people by yourself because none of them want to charge into a rapid-fire blaster where you could potentially nail all 4 people if they get close enough.
Oh, definitely.
It forces them back. While if you're charging in, it's like, look, I'm charging into your base, but I'm getting closer into your range of fire too, and you're in a fortified position.
Yeah, I mean, if we had one Rapidstrike on a team and we were making a push, I would probably say, like, well, let's maybe leave the Rapidstrike and one other person. I mean, it really depends on how many people we have on a team, but I would rather have the Rapidstrike guarding our flag so there's no flag swap than have it lead our charge if we have enough people to go in and charge. I mean, because you're really only going to make that charge anyway if they're down a few players and you have an advantage. So, I mean, I totally agree. If I had to choose one over the other, I would put you on defense every time. You're much more useful to us there. And if you've got a couple of people running Rapid Strikes or a Rapid Strike and a Hailfire, you might want to switch those two and leave the Hailfire back at base because it's less mobile than the Rapid Strike, et cetera, et cetera. But
I mean, this is something that honestly, as a player, me speaking to you, the audience, is something that I love seeing people do, and it's super useful to your team. Look at what everyone's running. If you can kind of pick up what their strengths are, if you're familiar with the group and know what they're running, feel free to modify your loadout based on that. One time, so we use Zingbows in our game, which are super fun. I mean, once again, I got the idea from one of our friends, Chris Rowe. He was running the Zingbow. It looked so awesome. I basically said, here, I'm going to buy everything off of you, and I want to run it at our games. And then we got 4 or 5 other people showing up with Zingbows now. The thing is, if you have a team of, let's say, 8 people, this actually happened, 8 people, and 3 of them are running Zingbows, you're like, well, heck. I mean, this is fun. It's great at a long range. But it's like in Team Fortress 2 stacking the team with snipers. Like, yeah, if it's just you by yourself, you can probably get a high KD and do really well and just pick off people. When it's all of you and there's no one supporting you, you kind of are shooting your team in the foot there.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to, as an organizer, as a player, tell someone what they can and can't run. Because I want people to have fun. That's ultimately the goal of the game, is to have fun. But when you see people just like running 3 bows or like 3 blasters that are not going to work well with the other stuff on the field, I'm like, it would really be useful if someone just went full auto right now with a Rapid Strike, or if someone wanted to hang on defense with a Hailfire,
Yeah, I mean, team balancing is definitely something that, depending on how you have things set up, you can try to do. But as a player, I think it ultimately comes down to you and talking with your team. Like, well, I've got this, I could run back and switch to this loadout or that loadout to just enable us to do better. As much fun as you may or may not have, running whatever you were planning on running, sometimes it'll be less frustrating in the long run if you're able to well balance your team.
And I think that's why Josh and I like the Alpha Trooper so much, because in most situations you get a balance between accuracy, range, rapid fire capability. It's good on assault, it's good on defense, it's good midfield. It's the Mario of the Nerf world, in my opinion.
It really is. It really is.
And that's not to say it doesn't have any strengths. The fact that it's so balanced, in most situations, it's just, can you outrange this person? Can you outfire them? If there's one element you can use to your advantage here to possibly win a firefight, at least with the Alpha Trooper, it'll provide some sort of advantage.
Yeah, it has the versatility to sort of switch between what you need at all times. It's sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. But that reminds me, actually, on the Rapid Strike, a few of the things I didn't like, just to get back to it, was, aside from what people have talked about, which is like the stock is either out or it's in. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice if we had adjustable positioning. That's cool. Front heavy, it is what it is. It takes C batteries. People have talked about all this. What I haven't heard a lot of is the handle. Now, some people have said the handle is really small. And I don't feel like the handle... I have small hands, so the handle isn't too small for me personally. What kills me is that they really should have made the handle just a little bit larger, in my opinion, because I'm running around with this big blaster, and it's not quite as light as a Strife. So I could one-hand it, but it's got this big front section on it that makes me want to, use my second hand. But while I'm running, because there is so little handle, I was constantly revving it, and I had to remind myself to take a finger off so that I wouldn't be revving it. At that point, I now have one finger, which, I mean, when I run, I'm usually indexing a finger. It is not in the trigger ready to take a shot unless I'm in that position.
Which is good gun safety, by the way.
It is good.
Don't run with your finger on the trigger, kids. I learned this from World War Z. It does not turn out well for you.
Yeah, I used to do airsoft, and I mean, I have shot real firearms, so it's just something that I naturally practice. So that's basically like, imagine making a peace sign, but then trying to hold on to a blaster, which if it's a strife, it's a little bit uncomfortable because you still only have 2 fingers on it, but it's light enough to where it's not a big deal. And the way where the batteries are keep it balanced. With this blaster, which is really uncomfortable for me to run. And I know some people run electronic blasters and have that flywheel rev there, so they're used to it. But to me, it was just incredibly uncomfortable running like that.
Just for the audience out there who are like me and probably stupid and don't understand what Josh meant by peace sign, what he means is his pinky and his ring finger are both holding the grip of the handle, and his thumb is wrapping around the kind of hold there. His middle and index finger are off to the side, so nowhere near the area where you would rev it. So basically, you only have your 2 weakest fingers as support to hold a big, heavy blaster.
Yeah.
It is a pain in the butt.
It really, really turned me off right away. Just the feel of the blaster was off, whereas the Alpha Trooper, I can grab it, get a nice full grip, and still leave my pointer finger out or, around the trigger, depending on
You can add your middle finger back onto the grip of the handle to give you more support. Plus, it's a lighter blaster, so you don't need as much support to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah, when I went back to the Alpha Trooper mid-game, I'm like, oh, baby, I missed you.
I really did.
I was getting all into these flywheel blasters and these other fancy blasters. I forgot it's just you I wanted.
Yeah, it was rough. Really
not rough cut.
Yeah, not rough cut. Speaking of the rough cut, actually, and we had this happen at our game because we have some crazy players that are awesome, but I've already seen people try to master key this blaster. I don't understand why. And here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. Blasters on blasters, I get it. It's fun. The rough cut, though, specifically, is what I don't understand. We put other blasters beneath this blaster. If you go to the Nerf Reddit, you probably saw one of our friends. We put every single blaster onto this blaster together. His name is BFU. He's done mods. We put up his videos in the past and stuff. He loves going crazy with the blasters, and it's so much fun because he comes out with these really great designs that are kind of like, I wouldn't have thought to do that because it seems crazy. Like, Why would you do that? And he went out and bought a bunch of the Retaliator barrels and like, you know what? I'm just going to put these on top of different blasters, combine them, and see what works. And granted, he's a bigger guy. I don't mean weight-wise. I mean, like, actual, like, wingspan size, so he can hold bigger blasters. I've used his Strife Alpha Trooper integration for humans versus zombies, and I loved it. It was so much fun. But granted, I'm sitting here, I'm like, the Strife is right in my shoulder, so luckily I can still slam fire this, but I'm moving my body to aim it, not my arms, because it's so big at that point. And it's awesome. So, yeah, he's the one who had the picture of him with, like, 4 blasters. 4 or 5? Let's see. It was the Rapid-Strike, and then beneath that was the Raven. Beneath that was the Strife. Beneath that was the Rough Cut. Yeah.
Yeah, so 4 blasters all on top of each other, just holding all of them.
It was a beautiful sight to see, and I mean, obviously, it was never run that way because it's incredibly
I wish
unwieldy.
God. Oh, by the way, when I was talking earlier about me getting shot by the Rapid-Strike's 2 people and I was sitting there dodging for like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Neither Rapid-Strike got me out and I didn't escape. I was hit by his Mega Dart from his Centurion blaster.
The Centurion.
He was perched up there up top and he was lining up his shot the whole time while I was dancing around, pegs me in the foot, and he was so happy about it.
Yeah.
He was so stoked. Like, you know what? I'm happy that you got to use your blaster as a sniper rifle and line up your shot and actually hit someone with it.
Oh.
You had a 1 in 6 chance and you nailed it.
It was good.
Congratulations.
But if I were going to throw another blaster beneath this one, I don't know why. The rough cut just seems like if I'm already got full auto and, I'm running this with 18 or more rounds.
Why do you need the slam fire?
Yeah, it just seemed like the slam fire on the rough cut. I don't know. It's odd to me because I feel like on the Strife, since it's a single shot blaster, you might need to, in a pinch, just turn and grab the rough cut and start firing. And you might be able to assault something. And I mean, It's cool, and I get what they're going for. They were going for the realistic Master Key.
Yeah, and plus the rate of fire is there. You're able to get 8 shots off in about 2 seconds.
Right.
I mean, that's still faster than a Strife, so it makes sense.
Right. This, I almost felt like there's either just run it without because it's lighter, or I'd almost rather put a Strife. Actually, what I really liked was if you look at them, and me and BFU were doing this beforehand, is that the Raven fits like a Tetris piece. If you add a Retaliator barrel to the Rapidstrike, and you imagine the bottom rail going to the top rail that is on the Raven, it fits in the little like nook right before the magazine well.
Guys, you don't have to imagine it. If you go back to the picture on Reddit, it is the blaster that is Master Key integrated into the Rapidstrike. It's the first and second blasters on those chains, so you can go look at it.
Yeah, and the barrel length ends up being almost flush. They're almost the same, whereas sometimes, depending on where you put the rough cut, it's either way the barrels don't line up with the barrel on the actual blaster, or it's way far ahead from the barrel. So I would almost rather have that, so I could just take individual shots, and then if anybody swings by in a closer proximity, I have a full auto blaster that I can just unload onto them. It's almost easier that way, and because the other one because the Raven is a bullpup design and everything, it actually balances out a little bit better than some of the other blasters. Mm-hmm. And the trigger is just right there.
Yeah.
So it's almost like having a forward grip that shoots.
Yeah, and this blaster does need a forward grip. It's actually surprising. The Stampede came with the bipod, the shield, all sorts of fun accessories. With this, I'm like, why didn't it come with a grip?
Yeah.
This is where it's not the Retaliator you need a grip on, because that one is, you
have to let go of the grip to prime it.
I always use the term mechanical blaster, and realistically all blasters are mechanical.
Right.
But you're using a plunger tube system, so
right.
You have to prime the blaster. So with that, why do you have a handle down there when it's going to be up here ready to fire the blaster again? It doesn't make sense. Now with the Rapidstrike, which is full auto and all you have to do is rev and fire, like, why are you putting your hand on a tack rail? That doesn't make sense. You should have either a forward grip or slide dev. This one's for free. Have a grip integration that slides onto it, so it's a bottom grip. Mm-hmm. Where it's how you were holding it before, but this time it's more comfortable.
Yeah.
You can design that, slide it onto the rail. It'd be really nice.
It would be really nice. I mean, I understand they did put a tack rail there, and it's like a shorter tack rail. Mm-hmm. So you can tell they obviously want you to run it with something like that. Mm-hmm. It's just really annoying that, well, now I have to go buy an entire Retaliator on top of that just to run something that really probably should have been included with this blaster. If it wasn't that forward grip, it should have been one that was similar. They could have just reprinted the one that came with the Stampede that has a little mini bipod on it that you can just hit the button and it pops down.
God, I have 3 of those.
Yeah, I mean, even if you gave me that, it's like, I would prefer the one that came with the Retaliator, just the stability of it. I like it more. Mm-hmm. But if you gave me that, at least I'd be like, okay, you gave me something, and if I choose to upgrade, it's going to cost me more. Or, like we've been saying for freaking ever, is just sell us the accessories by themselves so I could go and just buy a forward grip to use if I didn't already buy a Retaliator.
By the way, I just want to touch on this real quick. It is kind of combined with the Rapidstrike. So Nerf actually did release a new accessory recently.
Which is?
The RAC, the pouch that holds the 12-round magazines.
Yes, I saw that.
I think it's the RAC. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I know you're listening. Hi. I do appreciate you. Don't worry, I'm not mad.
Nah, I saw it. It's an accessory, but I mean, I also was at Target earlier today and saw the phone mount, which is an accessory as well. Yeah, that is not something that is necessarily super usable to me.
Everyone go buy the Tech Recon app. It's way better.
Yeah, you don't have to buy it. It's going to be free, isn't it?
Oh, that's right, Josh. It's given to you for free.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Nerf app is actually free as well. It's just that the little thing that you put your phone into is not.
Poopy is free. I would still rather the better thing.
Yeah, I mean, and it only fits iDevices. It's not the best thing I've seen. I didn't buy it and test it out. I don't know how well it stays on the rail. I just know that some things that you put on the tack rail that Nerf has come off relatively easy. Now, usually they have scopes or forward grips that are light because they're just plastic, but we're talking about potentially a phone.
Real quick, one more joke. Is an eye device like the Google Glass because it goes over your eye?
I get it. I get it.
I'm sorry. Like, I know you said that a minute ago, but I'm like, I want you to finish your thought, but I want to tell this bad joke so badly. Let me not be funny sometimes.
Actually, Google Glass would be really fun to have a Nerf.
Oh, God, that would be so good. If
I'm
Tech
recording
Recon is
everything.
like, I'm recording everything. Tech Recon, load up your interface. Boop, 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 boop.
Oh, my goodness.
Computer freeze program. Yeah, so accessories, I mean, I would not... It's so... There's a lot of shell that goes around the iDevice, so at least I'd feel safe if it fell.
Right.
That I'd be like, okay, cool, the cradle's going to take the hit for me, but it'll probably break in the process, so I'll have to buy a new cradle.
Still a $15 cradle, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like, when we say accessories, we mean stuff we can attach on the rails, stuff we can use in our loadout, stuff that isn't gimmicky, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm excited about this pouch, because it's a step in the right direction. They're like, it's like, of course there's the dumb pouch for ammo beforehand, where it's just a big flimsy pouch that sucked, but you know what, at least it was there.
Yeah.
This, I'm like, okay, cool, you're recognizing that people are going in the battles with multiple magazines. Mm-hmm. Not everyone is going to go to an army surplus store like we do, find stuff that'll fit Nerf magazines, which are big and bulky, and not fit everything, and run that. Instead, what you're saying is, cool, here's Velcro to attach this onto your belt, and it can hold 5 magazines, so you can go into battle and utilize this. But here's what Josh is going to say.
So, a couple of things that I don't understand. I get that. I get that they're trying to do something. So, I look at their Vortex line, and they have this really neat, like, belt, bandolier, depending on how you want to use it, that you can... It has little plastic holders for the magazines. That is awesome. What do they give people who are not playing with Vortex? They have the Nerf Bandolier, which, by the way, I might have mentioned this last episode. Don't remember if I did or not. The orange old one is longer than the Elite new version. If you try to take both out to as large as they will go, the old one that is way longer.
I'm watching Josh break right now.
The new Elite ranges that you would like. It seems like Nerf sort of started gearing towards like a more kidults or at least teenagers and HVZ stuff, but they made things smaller.
It's because no fatties.
It's mind-boggling, first off. But secondly, it's elastic. It barely holds the 6-round magazines. If you throw an 18 in there and you try to do any sort of decent, I won't even say running, if you jog with these, let alone jump, climb, run, if you barely move, the 18 rounds have too much weight and fall out because the elastic doesn't hold them in. Mm-hmm. Now, why is it so difficult to make something that attaches on to a belt? You can sell the belt with it. You could sell it separately, like you have with the Vortex line that the clips just fit into. You can hold a magazine. It snaps somewhat securely into place, but you can easily pull them out. You have this technology. They used to be on the back end of the long shot. You could put a magazine in, it would stay in, and then you could pull it out. Oh, you know what else has that ability? Is the... And Shawn has a MagStrike in his hand suddenly.
I just pulled one out because if you look at the MagStrike clip... Oh, God, I'm going to have to fire this. Probably. Nope.
No, you can just... Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if you look at the side of the MagStrike clip, I'm holding it up to the microphone so you can hear it. Little belt clip.
Little belt clip.
You can attach these to your belt. Why was this not added to the 18, 12, 6-round mags?
And that's what I'm saying. So you could add it to the mags, which they've done. They did back then, and they did with Super Soaker. Super Soakers, you can just attach onto your belt. Now, I'm not saying necessarily I want a belt clip on the magazine itself, but the Recon, the old Recon Raider. Yeah, the Recon.
The smaller one.
It had the which one had the stock? It was the Recon. The Recon had the barrel and it was the old Retaliator.
Yeah.
Their stock has the ability for you to put a mag into it.
It did. Yeah,
the Long
it was
Strike.
The wire frame one.
Yeah, the Long Strike has the ability to put 2 extra 6-round clips into it. Again, the Long Shot, you could put a magazine in, and it was basically being held there, and when you pulled it out, it was fine. Why have you not just developed something that you can either, like I said, clip onto a belt or sell it with a belt? and you can put magazines in there, and they just sort of clip into place nicely. Enough so that if you run, they're not going to fall out with just elastic, which is terrible. And on that note, even the Vortex line, they have that. You can buy the belt, which has 2 of them. Sell me more so I could put them on more belts. Maybe I want to run more than 2 magazines with a blaster. I mean, things like this. Things like, we've already talked about stocks and barrels and even things that aren't necessarily helpful but just help you feel tactical and look awesome, like scopes that don't work or laser red dot sights and things like that, elite pinpoint sights. All these things you could be making and selling to us. Some of them don't even come with blasters. Some of them you could just make right now and people would buy them.
Like, I was actually surprised that the little bag that came out wasn't a full-on accessory kit. It's like, here's a bag inside the bag. Oh, what is it? It's another stock. You can throw stuff all together and combo it together, so you're not sitting here trying to sell a single barrel for $15 and it doesn't sell well. Throw it all together.
Yeah, instead you're wasting time on making foam bricks and gears.
Don't hate on the foam bricks.
I'm just saying.
Brick is best weapon.
Maybe. We'll see at our games.
Can I use bricks in our game?
I don't see why not, as long as they're not melee weapons. We're throwing them.
That's true.
We'll have to decide. I mean, the brick... So here's the thing. The brick I get...
I want to throw bricks.
The brick I get... The little weird-looking football thing, I honestly have no idea.
Well, no, it's a bomb.
I saw it in person. No, so... One of them just looks like an odd football.
Yeah,
it's
bomb.
Green, and it kind of has these weird little 3 things sticking out of it. The other one actually is molded to look like a football that was cut and dynamite was shoved into it.
Was it pointing at the tip? Because it has to be pointing and stick in the ground, and that's what makes it explode.
No. The tip is
that's
more
how it works.
aerodynamic.
Are you telling me I'm wrong? I love the Dictator.
We're making references to the Dictator. You can't see us making the cutthroat motion for execution, but...
I mean, here's the thing. We've talked so many times about...
But they're about this big.
Yeah,
they're about the size of my fist, and I have really tiny hands. They are small.
Because I feel like... If you look at the Zombie Strike line, which we probably talked about this last time, it looks like it's inspired by Humans versus Zombies. It's trying to capitalize on that, and socks are an integral part to the game. A lot of people use socks. I personally don't, because I'm like, I have a blaster that does this. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But everyone uses socks, so Nerf is like, how do we make socks cooler? The Z-bombs.
Right. But I'm spending $10 on a foam brick.
Yeah,
and
but you would be the coolest
football.
guy on the field. Don't you want to be rich and show off, Josh?
No, I want accessories so I can be rich and bling out my blaster.
I like the alliteration there. It was good. It was good. I'm proud of you. But yeah, I mean, we've gone into the accessory route so many times and talked about it so many times.
We really have. And it's not even... I mean, we want them to sell them individually, but especially if you're not going to ship me things with a blaster, and I understand this is already an expensive blaster, so throwing something on there might have been like, oh, well, that'll cost more, but how much could it have cost to have thrown in a forward grip? I mean, you did it with the Stampede, like we were saying, and it came with a big old shield that nobody even wanted and nobody seems to ever use. You were able to make these things and still have that blaster be close to the same cost. Mm-hmm. I mean, heck, we ended up getting those things on clearance for way cheaper. And I mean, sure, that was significantly after they came out, but even so, if the Hellfire, again, was the best-selling blaster of last season, and that was expensive, that cost more than the Rapidstrike when it came out.
It's either 45 or 50,
yeah.
I think was starting price.
Yeah. And I mean, that's on par with what the Rapidstrike is right now. Still, you couldn't... I don't know. It's just... I was really disappointed with the playstyle. Some people liked the Rapidstrike. They were saying, yeah, it's really fun because I can just spray and pray, but... You
can't, though. That's the thing. When you're spraying... It's less spray, more pray.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm going to wildly shoot this blaster. It has a rate of fire of like 1-2 shots per second. Mm-hmm. That's not fast enough to just be like a wave. What I wanted, which I grabbed over here, I'm going to listen to the mic. Cover your ears.
Nope. Got to pump it up.
I did pump it up. I know how to do stuff. Do it all the way.
All the pumps.
All the way. I pumped it up like 8 times while I was sitting down. That is a mag strike. This is a MagStrike. That was a lot of rounds very quickly. This is what I wanted out of the Rapidstrike. I want to say, here's 10 bullets in 1 second.
Just
Close
sneeze.
spread, quickly going, no jamming, no issues, just works perfectly. And granted, like we said before, you can voltage mod to go faster. I don't care because I'm already getting jams at it with a regular rate of fire. I can only imagine how bad it is when you start voltage modding it and the pusher is going faster and faster and faster and the darts have to be right there.
I agree.
Make an elite MagStrike.
Yep.
Make this blaster that I'm holding up that none of you can see.
Make it blue.
Make it blue. Have it get elite ranges. Have it make more of the mags that actually clip onto your belt.
That you can buy individually.
Yeah. That you can buy individually. It would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
Be lovely.
I mean, like I said, everything is not all bad about the Rapidstrike. There are, if you enjoy it, I think you'll enjoy it.
Full circle.
Full circle. But, so I like the aesthetics of it. It looks really awesome.
It looks really pretty.
For cosplay, it'll make a really sweet, like, pulse rifle or something for people doing aliens or a variety of sci-fi cosplays. Just in-game, it wasn't my bag.
Yeah, I agree. I went in with high expectations for it. I was let down. I end up going back to the Alpha Trooper, which, honestly, like I said, it works perfect for the way I use it.
It just felt like a really niche blaster.
It did, and it felt like people were using it as an all-around blaster, and it wasn't working that way.
Exactly.
I mean, even though I ran into a lot of jams, Josh ran into a lot of jams, the other people were running into less jams, it's just you don't want jams in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen. That is, like, rule number 1 for Nerf. If you fire your blaster, make sure a dart is coming out of it.
Yeah. Also,
that's the leading cause of death on the field.
You run out of ammo so quickly that Nerf really needs to look into making other magazines accessible. I mean, the 35-round drum, back in its day, people were like, eh. I mean, I know we had issues with it being kind of janky and not really performing to spec, but if you're going to be voltage modding this and just shooting blue blur out of your blaster, you're probably going to want 36 so that you at least have a few seconds to let off the trigger and conserve some ammo instead of 18 rounds gone in that.
I'm going to go back for a second because I think we only touched upon this a little bit, but the mag holder holds 5 magazines. It only, size-wise, it only works for 12-round mags or smaller.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
Okay, Nerf, you are selling, Hasbro, whoever is listening to this, you are selling 18-round mags separately or 6-round packs. You can also get 4 of them together for like the Hellfire starter kit or whatever.
Right.
But other than that, you are selling the 18-round magazines separately. These are the magazines people are going to have excess of. They're going to have extra. They're going to run into the field with these. The 12-round magazines only come with what? You get it in the Retaliator. You get it in the Alpha Trooper.
That's it.
No, you get one for the... what do you get with the... it's a 6-round mag. I was going to say it's Strife. Strife is 6-round mag.
Strife is 6.
Those are the only 2 blasters that come with it. So let's say you're a normal person or a slight enthusiast and you have one of each blaster. Congratulations. You have 2 12-round magazines.
Yep.
This bag can hold 5. Nerf, come on.
What were you thinking?
And the worst part is, people point this out right away too. All you have to do is go to Joann's Fabrics or whatever fabric store you have next to you, or Michael's or whatever. Buy a Velcro strip, put it higher up on the bag than where the current Velcro strip is. Congratulations, it now holds 18-round magazines. It is the smallest and easiest change, and Nerf did not think to do it. For God knows what reasons, unless they want to start coming out with the 12-round magazines, which I don't think they will, because, Josh, let me tell you why. It is because, look at the cost of an 18-round magazine. It's $10.99 at Target, $12.99 over at Toys R Us.
Right.
If you get the Firefly clips, you're looking at more like $20.
Yeah. So
if you're talking about 12-round magazines, you have to come in at a lower price point to try and say there's some sort of value for the 18-round magazines. So Nerf, you are creating a magazine that is roughly the same cost to make, but selling it for cheaper. For what? Everyone's just going to go to the 18 rounds unless they really want to use this bag for some reason and go for 12, or if they want a lighter loadout for the Hellfire. which that is a very small niche market. Not many people are going to try and customize their magazines around the Hailfire.
Especially since you already sell something that's called the Hailfire Mission Kit with 6-round magazines. Doesn't make sense. Just 12s. Don't get me wrong, I know some people that like running 12s because they've gone to Army surplus stores and things like that, and they've found pouches, but they aren't quite large enough to fold and snap down over an 18.
You can't secure the 18-round clip, but the 12 is small enough to where you can do that.
Right.
So, once again, Nerf, Hasbro, why would you make this accessory specifically for something that can only be picked up in combination with a blaster? It's like saying, hey, we have this new tech out that works really great with all the scopes. Like, it's an additional scope mount that gives it extra features. Cool. There have been no scopes since, what, the Nitron?
Oh, gee, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It was like a Vortex, yeah.
Yeah, it was I believe it was the Nitron. It might be something else. Correct me once again if I'm wrong. But there are no scopes out, so what does it matter? Once again, with the 12-round magazines, at least you have 2 blasters out right now that come with 12-round magazines. But what you're saying is, okay, buy 5 Alpha Troopers.
Yeah.
Which, granted, Josh and I did do.
that may have happened.
That may have been a thing.
Most people are not us.
Yes. So most people are not going to have the room for the 12-round magazines. Instead, they're going to have 18-round magazines or a bunch of 6-round magazines. Mm-hmm. Or here's a plus, actually, with this. I haven't checked the size because I haven't seen this in person. But if it works with the 25-round drum, also really cool. But once again, you can only get that with one blaster, the Rampage, which in my opinion is garbage outside of that drum.
Yeah, it's worth picking up for the drum and honestly nothing else.
It just jams too much. Once again, I hate jams. If it's one thing that quickly turns me off of a blaster is if it jams.
Oh yeah, and Nerf, what happened? What happened to the 18-round drum magazines? Honestly, I know a lot of people didn't run them and they would rather have a straight 18 because they can fit it into pockets and things easier. But there have been a few applications where I've actually enjoyed running the 18-round little drum magazine.
It's smaller, more ergonomic.
And it was $10.
And that is a good reason. It was 15.
I bought them for 10 at Target.
Oh, you probably got them on sale.
Wow.
Original price was $15. That's when I got mine.
Regardless.
So lucky you. But that is a situation where it makes sense to have a different mag because you're like, okay, it's a slightly different design, so that's why you'd want it.
Right.
I mean, 12 round to 18 round, it's straight up the same magazine, just one's longer and holds more darts. I don't think people are necessarily going to buy something that holds less darts for the same exact price as an 18-round magazine.
Right.
Josh, you're exactly right. If you want to have a snail mag, which is a little bit closer, a little bit neater to the blaster, looks a little bit nicer, that makes sense. I personally wouldn't do that just because my loadout is designed around the skinnier mags.
Agreed.
But you could have a setup where that works very well, or you have integrations where it needs to be a smaller mag and it just works better.
Oh, I mean, my entire point is that it came out with the original Alpha Trooper, and they were awesome. People really liked them. They decided to make them Target exclusives, and you could buy them individually, and people were like, this is great. I don't have to buy a Stampede to get straight 18s. It's a little bit more inconvenient to carry, but I still can get 18-round magazines. Awesome. Cut to now, they're making straight 18s, which most people will want to buy. Understandable. I can understand why you stopped making the 18-round drum magazines for individual purchase. But, just like the Alpha Trooper, you found something that was pretty popular. Why have you not done this with the 25s? Because the 25s only come with a blaster that most people don't want. It's like the 36s, and at least at one point, you could get 2 36s with one blaster at Toys R Us because they had the exclusives.
Right.
If I could go and pick one up and get 2 25s, I might be able to say, yeah, it's the same cost as buying it somewhere else or close to the same cost, and I'm getting 2 of these drums. Might be nice, but you literally have no options available to us besides get a Hailfire Mission Kit that comes with some 6 rounds for more than I would like to pay, or get an 18. And as much as I like the 18, that's it. And then you're going to create accessories that don't cater to the people who have what you are offering them.
One last note I want to touch on real quick before we close out the podcast. Clear mag that comes with the Rapidstrike. Josh, what do you think?
It's kind of a blessing and a curse. I like it. I think I just like it because it's new and it performs really nice in all my old magazines. I've dropped so many times. They're starting to, like, this spring. It's not pushing darts up all the way, and these are nice. I do like the fact that you can see, no matter how you look at it, the same point in time, your enemies can also see because you've got bright blue in here. So I almost wish that they had made it a frosted clear, so it was a little bit harder to see and everything was sort of blurry, and then left the back, and not either side or the front, but actually the skinny back part just clear, so you could look and see. In fact, Coop772, who mods blasters, you can visit his YouTube channel, had painted one of these and had painted the actual magazine, left the top half unpainted because that goes into the blaster obviously, and then on the very, very back did that and left it so you could see how many shots you had left, but everybody around you really couldn't see.
I agree. I don't like the idea of my enemy having all that extra information. And if you go back like almost a year ago when we first started doing this podcast, we talked about how it was kind of odd that Nerf chose the side it did to show where your darts were, which it's still kind of a weird decision that they had one side be not see-through and the other side be see-through. The way it was arranged, it should be more catering to right-handed people because that's the dominant way people hold blasters. To look in quickly and see. I've gotten used just to flipping my blaster outward to check. But realistically, having one side hidden and the other side visible just makes sense now.
I mean, I don't even think it's that. See, for me, they have 6s that are clear orange. It's that orange that they have on the 18
fully
rounds.
Translucent.
Yeah, if you went fully translucent orange, from across the field if I'm looking, I see an orange magazine. If it's a little bit darker because it has darts in it, I can't really tell. If it's clear or blue, I can tell the difference.
So if you're saying it's like translucent orange all the way through?
Yeah.
Or any color, mostly.
Pretty much,
be
any
red,
color.
blue. Come out with rainbow colors.
Yeah.
Brand them with My Little Pony stuff. Be cross promotions. You know people would eat that up.
Yeah. I mean, you could make this any color. Clear itself, while it is cool looking, it gives your enemy too much information. And any color that you put on that, when you looked at darts through it, it would just make it seem like a darker or lighter shade of whatever color it is, whether or not you have darts inside of it. So that's why I still feel like it's odd that they chose the side they did, and it's odd they wouldn't just make the entire thing translucent, but leave it a color. Also, the orange, or the clear doesn't really go with anything. Something to note on the Rapidstrike. Some of the promo pictures have that awesome elite white stripe. The Rapidstrike's is orange. There is no white on this blaster. The white actually would go really well with a clear clip. And I know that Bazookafied over at Tactical Tag painted his and actually was doing a giveaway for likes on his Facebook page of that blaster that he painted, and it looks so much better with the white stripe.
It's funny because if you look at the orange stripe, at least with my Rapidstrike, if you look towards the front, right where you get to the muzzle of the blaster, you see that the paint stops there.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it was a quick decision that they had to do last minute because something went wrong in the factory, and they're like, okay, these got to get out now. They got to get out quickly, so just paint it as quick as you can. And I mean, it's not that it looks bad necessarily, like it doesn't look shoddy, but you can tell that it was rushed.
Yeah, it looks really odd. The thing that says Rapidstrike, like it's not really a nice black that they went over the raised lettering that they usually do with blasters. It looked very shoddily, just quickly done, like, oh, just wipe on it some black paint and it dries. But the promo art, even on the
pamphlet?
No, the app, the little...
Oh, yeah,
the phone cradle. Shows a Rapidstrike on it that is being used on, and it's white.
I think that Nerf originally intended it to be white. Just something happened where they had to paint it less. Either it didn't test properly, or there was a mistake at the factory.
Yeah,
but
it's just blowing my mind because it just looks completely out of place with the rest of the Elite line.
Yeah, I kind of liked it initially because I'm like, oh, it's a different flare. That's cool. But now I'm kind of like, well, I like white.
Yeah, and there's nothing to really break up the blaster.
And I'm so pretty.
But yeah, Rapidstrike, it's something that I wouldn't recommend you go out and buy. If you know somebody who has one, test it out. See if you're the type of person who really wants to do base defense, you might enjoy this blaster.
If you run with a team where you are very comfortable going in for a rush, this could be a good blaster for you as well, but only if you have that team dynamic down.
And you know what? Speaking of which, because we were just talking about our games, but speculation of HVZ.
I was about to lead into that. You stole my idea.
I'm sorry.
HVZ, no.
Yeah.
I mean, just straight up, if you're running a blaster in HVZ, you have to be careful with your shots because you need to hold on to as much ammo as you can throughout the entire day.
Yeah.
And you do not need the firepower that it provides, especially if, I mean, when you get into bigger HVZ games, honor system is always a thing. If you're blasting and hoping every zombie will stay their hit when their adrenaline is running and they're charging at you, they're not. It makes more sense to have a melee tapping them for you, or you're just taking pot shots to keep them away.
I agree.
You are never going to need the spray to the level that you are in a tactical, more... like a more not game-based, a more... I don't want to say objective. What do we call our games, Josh? I can't use the right words.
I mean...
Tactical.
They're more tactical than just some... other
Capture a flag, team deathmatch, those types of games. There's definitely a place to spray and pray. Right. HVZ, I mean, you think that there's a horde of zombies coming at you, you are not going to need that rate of fire, and if there are that many charging it all at once, you're probably boned already.
I mean, it's a twofold thing. Either you're going to have the rate of fire because you over-juiced it, and you just threw, more volts into it, and you're just wasting all of your ammo really quickly, or you're not getting the rate of fire that's quite quick enough to hit 3 or 4 zombies that are coming at you at once. So either way, I just feel like it doesn't really fit into HVZ.
If you want that rate of fire, you honestly don't need that rate of fire. If you want that versatility, though, of electronic blaster, use a Strife. I use Strifes for HVZ, and it works out well because it's semi-auto. I only take the shots I need to and wait till the zombies are close enough. So I don't need to spray. The time delay between one zombie to another, I'm running and gunning. I need that lighter blaster to stay mobile and stay agile.
Right, plus, you need to be able to take the shots you need to take and not, I pulled down the trigger and I had to shoot 3 or 4 rounds off to hit one person. That's something we were talking about in our games where it seemed because the accuracy was so low, I needed to waste half of a mag to hit one person, and in HVZ, that's just not going to cut it.
It's not. It really isn't.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe some people will try it, and I'm sure there will be people that run it and just say that they enjoy it. Because that happens with almost every blaster, whether we like them or not. But it seems like for the most part, I would way rather have an Alpha Trooper. Again, it has that versatility where I can take those single shots that are accurate, and if people really do get close, I can slam fire it.
Yeah. It's true. Last time we played, I died because I was using a Strife, and it died on me.
Yeah.
Fresh new batteries, it stopped working properly. Mm-hmm. And granted, that rarely happens with the Strife. I was borrowing a friend's Strife, and he modded it, and some of the circuitry wasn't working properly, so it's like, But honestly, just HVZ, slower blasters. You can run in with a Fire Strike if you want to, and still be good enough. You could probably go in with a Triad and still be good enough, as long as you're reloading it as you go.
Right.
It's just, you don't need the extreme rate of fire that Mag Strike, a Rapid Strike.
Again, if you're going to, and it depends on how you play HVZ.
That's always true.
Because if there is like a base that you have to defend, or if you're going to get to a location and then once you're there you have to hold off zombies, it might be helpful. Mm-hmm. And it depends on the rules and a lot of the objectives that you may or may not have. So I don't want to say that you'll never see one.
But you know what has a huge rate of fire and unlimited ammo? Melee weapons.
This is true.
You just don't have the same range, but you know what? Let the zombies come to you. It's just like it would be with the Rapid-Strike. You want the enemy to be as close as possible to A, see if they're an important enough threat to actually hit to stun them to keep them away, or 2, just to be more accurate with your shots and not waste ammo.
Yeah.
It makes more sense if you want to take down a bunch of people to get really good with a melee weapon and just bop them.
Yeah, and I mean, again, depends on how you play.
It's play style once again.
Some people also may not allow melee, or there have been games where there's objectives where you cannot use melee for a round or something like that. So, we're not going to say, like, it's a terrible blaster and you should never use it. I just feel like both of us were expecting more than what we got, and we were really let down, both in it being not quite to our standards or to our playstyle.
You remember a couple podcasts ago how we talked about how the Centurion and the Rapid-Strike were going to be big game changers and kind of obsolete the previous lines?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I mean, I think everyone really kind of wanted that to be the case. It just... Our eyes got bigger than our mouths. We just saw these blasters that promised like ridiculous rates of fire, great accuracy, and what we end up getting is more just kind of different types of blasters that we already have. Different flare, different style, different design, but
I wouldn't even say that, because they're not like, I could have a Strife or I could have a Rapid-Strike, but one looks cooler, because then I would say, yeah, just go buy the one that you think looks better. Mm-hmm. It's not even that. It just performs different, but not necessarily better.
Yeah. I would almost argue in some cases worse.
Yeah, I mean, again,
The Centurion is big, it's bulky, it's hard to move around. You want to set up and take your shots, but you know what? You aren't getting the ranges that you need to really do that. To be fair, the
Centurion, I was actually pleasantly surprised with the Centurion, and I don't want to get on too huge of a tangent because we're focusing on the Rapidstrike, but when it came to the game, I think it's just because I heard so many negative reviews of the Centurion saying how the range was bad and this was bad and that was bad, that when I actually picked it up and used it, it wasn't terrible. Now, granted, I wouldn't rock it in a game, especially not with that barrel because it makes it almost as big as I am. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I think that once some mods come out for it, I think it'll be something that there's a lot of mod potential for because it's just the plunger tube is so friggin' big. And if you don't have the barrel, it actually looks like a pretty sweet, again, kind of like a pulse rifle type blaster. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things, either singling it and bringing it down to normal dart size, or even things with to potentially make the mega darts more stable. Mm-hmm. I was like, I can understand why they did what they did with this blaster. If you made this direct plunger, I think those darts would tear. Yeah. And I've had like Panthers and things that I've modified and put regular darts in, and I've shot them, and there's just a line that I notice when I'm squeezing the dart, and I realize it is actually ripped like down, almost forming a seam in the dart that's just open.
Actually, we kind of saw that at the last game too with the Rapidstrike. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of darts that were just being torn on top.
Yeah, that was something that was odd, and I think that was because of the dart pusher and the way that darts were getting stuck in the blaster itself. We did have it's hard to say if we had a lot more darts get chewed up because of the Rapidstrike, or just because more people were using electronic blasters, so there were a lot more darts being expelled. Like, if you look at the number of darts that are normally being chewed up when people are just using Alpha Troopers, well, you're using a lot less ammo. You and I both said that I normally run 3 magazines and then 1 in my blaster, or sometimes it's 25, to running 6 magazines.
6 18-round mags.
Yes. So I essentially doubled up my ammunition.
So I think basically the moral of what you're saying right now is, so far, in the future, mod potential, great for the blasters, it might be viable. I don't know
how much we could do with the Rapidstrike with modding. Centurion, I think, has mod potential. Rapidstrike, you're going to overvolt it. You're going to see people just really fast. Other than that, I can't think of what more you will do to the blaster than just increase rate of fire and
just overall, I mod blasters, but I don't like using modded blasters because I like reliability, and I feel like Nerf makes a product that starts reliable out of the box, except for the Rampage. So
nice disclaimer. Fine print, not including the Rampage.
Screw the Rampage. It is that's what it breaks down to. I like being able to buy something, take it, and play with it, because that's the capability I want my players to have when they're playing a game. I want them to go out there and say, hey, this is my first time playing. I just went to the store and bought this. Like, cool. You have a magazine. You have a blaster. Heck, you might even buy a spare 18-round mag.
You're good.
You're good. Yeah, some of our best players run like that. You don't need a big fancy setup.
We like to keep the game accessible to new people and not feel like, oh, I went to the store and bought this, but I'm grossly underpowered compared to everybody else.
Yeah. So, overall, I think Josh and I kind of agree. And to the Rapidstrike. Yeah. I mean, if you want to try it out, it's a fun blaster. Test out one of your friends. I know a lot of people went out initially. We're doing the DPCI hunts and have them. I have a Rapidstrike. Josh has a Rapidstrike. Check around. See what's up. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all of our thoughts on that.
Yeah, let us know what you think. If you guys have used them, you agree, disagree, what you like, what you dislike.
Let us know, are you running into jamming problems? Are they working perfectly fine for you in your games? Are they all-star blasters?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was just our players, but let us know how they've been working for you and how you feel about the Rapidstrike.
Yeah.
Yep, until next time, this is Shawn.
And this is Josh.
Happy tagging!